The Viral Visions milestones were updated to be less trashy. How much grind do you need to do now that they're updated? Save your cores because we have a bunch of events that are coming up that you need to spend cores. And we got some War Dog data mines, including some Icarus and Circe shards coming. We're talking all about that and everything that happened over the past week in this edition of your Marvel Strike Force Weekly News Update. This week, I'm discussing it all with my brother Boilon. And if you're ready for a Boilon, tell him what to do.
Let's go smash it.
ValleyFlyin.
Hello, Valley Maniacs. Another week down in Marvel Strike Force. Hope you are doing well. Welcome back to the ValleyFlyin channel. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button. We got more great Marvel Strike Force and Marvel gaming content, including Marvel Strike Force and Marvel Snap coming up on this channel. But we are here to discuss Marvel Strike Force and everything that happened over the past week. We're talking about these milestones. We got some data mines. We got some other things going on in the game, and Wakanda Forever is coming out this week. And to discuss it all with me is my brother Boilon. How are you, Boilon?
Well, I feel like I lost 10 pounds after getting my haircut, so, you know, I'm feeling a bit better.
Nice. Your hair is looking nice, and you're looking way sharper because of that camera, although there's a little lag in our Discord connection here, so, yeah.
It looks better on my videos than it might necessarily on here, so...
Yeah, some of that is with the connection, though, because, yeah, you're looking very sharp on your own videos. How are you enjoying Marvel Strike Force right now, my brother?
Well, I will say that I am glad that I probably don't have to blitz very much for the next couple of days since I'm almost done.
Yes,
but
yes, that was updated. That is not as bad as it once was. I'm not sure if you've crunched all the numbers, but we're going to talk all about that. But before we get to all that, let's talk about our new month-long milestone character and event. It is for this guy, Cat Attack, the first Panther. This is for the Black Panther 1mm, aka 1 million BC. How does this compare, in your opinion? You are the numbers guy, looking at all these breakdowns. How does this compare to 2099's event? Obviously, 2099 was a little better than Abomination, but how better is this? At first glance, without looking at all these numbers, it seems like it's a little better. Is that your same assessment or no?
The unlock is better. So where you get 100 shards, I believe, I don't have my spreadsheet open, but I believe it's somewhere around 189k. I think that's the milestone. I forget what number that is, but that will give you the unlock there. And that's earlier than it would have been with the orbs and the 2099 and Abomination version.
Nice. So is this something that you're going to push hard for now that the first event is not as bad as it once was earlier this week? Is this something that you think you're going to unlock all of these milestones, or will you be short based on what you're seeing here?
I mean, I hope that we're still able to do what we normally do, is get the 500k. What I do like, though, is that they staggered the items. You might have noticed the last 3 milestones, actually, of this. It was normally 3 teal items or something towards the end, or 2 in 1, but now it's 1 per 38, 39, and 40. So for people who can't get all the way to 40, at least they can get something, right? It's better than nothing.
Yeah, and this seems like a lot compared to what we had with the Abomination or 2099, 40 Black Panther shards at milestone 39. Does that equal out when you take in all these milestones, or did it just move a lot of these to the end?
The number, I mean, it's still a 4-star, so that's 441k for the 4-star.
Okay.
If we go back to Deathlock's event, I guess, which was under the 50k system, the 4-star was got at 45.2k. So in a 500k system, that would have been 452k. So it's actually slightly reduced in the new scale, but not by much.
I thought it was better, but that's why you're here. You run the numbers. You got all the information on that for us. So, all right. So we have the first event for the Black Panther milestone, and this was so bad until yesterday. The amount of blitzing that you had to do, the amount of cores that you need to spend, this was not a fun event, and now it's not as bad. What did you think of that when you first saw all these numbers here and how much grinding you need to do, how many cores you need to spend, and what do you think of it now that some of these changes went through?
I guess the question is, how did this pass any checks? Why was it released in the state that it was? And I think that's really my biggest question, why these things end up happening without it being double checked by anyone who knows numbers or who understands, what this means for the player base. Because I think that when this first came out, a lot of people, and especially when they saw my video about how crazy it was, that they probably just gave up at the beginning and they didn't even bother to blitz because they knew they weren't going to get there. So now people have a little bit of catch up to do.
Yeah, so it is a little better, and I guess you still can catch up with this, especially considering the amount of blitz credit you can get from the quick rumble that we're going to talk about a little bit. I did want to ask you about some of these nodes though in this event. If we go into the supply section in these orbs here, we see that some of these orbs award a little better value than some others. If we go here to the orb itself and you don't have any to open, you go to the find button, you can click on where you can see these, and as you can see, I already farmed some of these nodes. With this, it is not 20 energy for these 30 shards. I believe it's 12 or 16 or something like that, as opposed to this node, for example, here in Heroes 7-6, you have to spend 20 energy, you only get 30 shards. But for another one, as you can see, I claimed a lot of these already. Squirrel Girl's another one. Here we go. 16 energy, and you're still getting those 30 shards. Are you farming some of these extra value nodes? This Black Panther is another example where it's only 16 energy for 30 of these fragments. Are you farming some of these extra value nodes, or is there something that you actually need in the store from these nodes that have these fragments for the Plaguemonger orbs?
Yeah, so I do the 12s, which would be Miles, Green Goblin, and Jessica Jones, because those have a 2.5 ratio conversion, because you're getting some really good value there. 60 energy for 150 fragments. The 16 energy ones, I think is something like 1.8 conversion, whereas the 20, everything else basically is 1.5. Energy to currency conversion. So I only do the 12s, and then I just go do my regular farm that in the new hard mode, I guess. Sounds
like these 16s are still a little better value than some of the others, though.
They are. I'm just not getting anything out of it. So for me, I'm not doing it. Yeah. But if you are a newer mid-game player, if you can get if the shards are of value for you, I would do it.
Gotcha. Now, you said you're doing the hard nodes instead of the Doom. That was a question that was asked on chat earlier today. What is actually better as far as some of the value that you're getting per energy spent? Because on these new hard nodes, you're spending 12 energy per attempt, where some of these other ones are only 10. So what actually has the better value? And now that I have the math guy here, these Doom nodes or the new hard nodes, the new hard hero nodes?
I mean, it just depends on what you're looking to farm, but the new hard modes do have more training modules. They have a little bit more gold. So if that's the item, and they have a lot of origin, the drops are crazy on those. Like I've got like that one there, Heroes 1.5 with the orange Mystic Powder. I got like 24 Mystic Powder in like one day just doing that. So there's some really heavy origin drops if you need to farm any of this stuff. So I'd rather do that because I'm getting longer term better stuff. There's teal origin if you need it. So I think just overall, there's the Wong node, I do that too. So
this one right here is a good one. The Heroes 1-1 where you can get Catalyst for only 12 energy instead of having to spend a 20 energy.
Absolutely. So there's some really good value, just not even just the currency, but just the other stuff that you're getting along for it. So I definitely recommend doing hard mode for a good portion of your energy.
Okay, yeah, glad to hear that, because that's where I want to farm. All right, so this is the event as it was released, but we had some changes to it, and this was edited a few times here. And one of the big things, the new milestone points will be lowered to 16,000, which I believe came down from 36,000, right? Was that 36 or 32?
36.
Okay, so less than half of what it was from the past. And then we're also getting an additional 5,000 Plaguemonger Orb fragments. And we had one yesterday. So guys, if you're watching this now, make sure you go to the web store, claim that for free. We're getting a Thursday. Doesn't say anything about a Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday. So do you think that this was a typo and we're not getting anything on Sunday or on a Friday? Or we're getting Wednesday, Thursday, you're skipping Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, because it's supposed to be equal 5,000. So maybe we're getting 1,000 each, and then 1,500 on these 2 days, or did they forget to put the Friday on there? What do you think is the likely scenario here, Boilon?
What did we get in the first one? 1,000 fragments. So we're still missing.
Yeah, actually have that in my inbox. I didn't claim that on purpose here. So yeah, we go to BlueStacks here. This is what the first one is. It's 1,000, and you're getting 300 additional Blitz credits there.
Yeah, so that actually does help, and I'm interested to know how many Blitz credits are in the other ones, because that actually helps to clear the Viral Visions milestone a little bit.
We won't know, and they aren't sharing.
But they didn't put subject to change on that blog, so it has to be correct, right? Otherwise,
unless they forgot to put subject to change. I don't see it all. I'm scrolling all the way down. I don't see anything subject to change. So,
but I mean, again, thanks for the change. It's just that it should never have been this bad to begin with, and I just don't know who's over there checking the numbers or not.
Obviously, someone that doesn't play the game and know how much blitzing you need to do to get to those milestones, or they're like, let's see how far we could push these players. How much can they blitz without revolting? Because we could always make it easier and go back, but it's harder to make it. We can't make it harder. So,
anyone with moderate Microsoft Excel knowledge can do this really quick in less than a half hour. You can put numbers in, and you'll see how bad the blitz rotation numbers are, and then all they have to do is say, hey, is this bad? Yeah, sounds bad. All right, well, maybe we should change it. It doesn't. This is what I do in most of my videos, so it doesn't take that long to do.
I know. So someone that doesn't work for the company actually does more work than someone that actually does. It's kind of weird. But Boilon, on a positive note here, they did say best of luck for the rest of the event. This is not strucken through, so they did not take that back. They took back the apology and the thanking us for playing this game. Now, you got into it a little bit with Archangel, and I sent you the original screenshot. It said something a little different, which I thought it said he was calling you a liar. Then when I sent you the message, I was like, oh wait, he's not. He wasn't calling you a liar. He's just talking about what a liar is. So Archangel, before we got these, actually when this was announced, these changes were going live, and I got to give him props. I think he was pushing hard for this. Now, some of his communication about this was a little sketchy, but I think he was pushing hard for this. So if that is true, thank you, Archangel, for pushing this. But this was a communication. 5,000 total is what this person said on Reddit. That's like trying to put out a fire hose with a water gun and say, no, it isn't. That's 2.5 arbs. And what he said, that was strucken through. That lowers the amount of blitzing needed. That wasn't true because that did not affect the blitz milestones at all. And it lowers the refreshes from 600 to 200. How big is that? The 600 is a lot of cores to spend, but I could spend 200 cores a day for.
It's actually 150. It's actually 150.
Okay,
yeah, so not 200. It's actually 150.
It's even better than Archangel says.
I did the number. So as long as you were doing the 200 daily up until when they changed it, it's now 150 from this point onwards. But if you have catching up to do, though, you might still have to do the 200. But if you were doing their moderate engagement, then you should be able to cut back a bit.
I'm actually do the 50 core refreshes anyway, unless I'm hoarding for an event, which you may want to do when we take a look at the data mines, because there's a lot of hoarding that you may need to do with all your stuff. And he rewrote this, said, responding to Boilon, don't lie to them, which is different than what was said originally. A liar is someone that has intent to deceive. I misspoke. Regardless, the milestone adjusted to see how the event will be, and it was. Now, initially, when it was changed, it was not working. This says it's broken, but when you do a blitz battle, it should be fixed. And these are the new milestones here. As you can see, I wasn't sure if I was gonna hit this. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to blitz anymore. Not 8 rotations a day, but as you can see, I'm pretty much done. And if we look at the quick rumble blitz, that should reward 3,000 blitz credits. So I'm done. I'm happy until the quick rumble happens. How much did this change for you? Are you done blitzing? Is this pushing you to complete this event now that it is completable and not having to do this 8 rotations a day? And or were you planning to do those 8 rotations a day and complete this whole event and just grind it out, brother?
Absolutely not. I was not planning on doing this event. I said in my video, I said, screw that, that that's not happening. And it was just it's too much. Like full disclosure, I barely don't have a life. Like I don't have a life. I'm like sitting at home a lot and I still don't want to do it. Like it's just that bad. I don't want to log into my game 8 times a day. Like that's ridiculous. And so for me, my threshold for events, typically like for me to engage with it is about 4, maybe 5. Anything 6+ is really pushing it. I did it for Agatha and Hulkbuster, but those were character releases. There's no way I would do it for a standard event that didn't include a character.
Yeah, I've pushed 8 rotations a day on Blitz release characters when it's a 3-day thing. Not for
7 days straight.
Not for this, not for these rewards. These rewards are not worth blitzing 8 times a day or something like that. You know, it's not. And then when we look at these overall rewards, I was willing to pass up these and pass up the whole Black Pit Panther event because of that. So I'm glad they changed it. Any other thoughts on these changes and this Viral Vision event now that it's gotten a little better, a little less trashy?
I mean, I just wish that this was in from the beginning. I hope that going forward that week 2, 3, and 4's event are not I hope it's not Blitz related, but if it is, I hope it's not anywhere. You know, for me, I just won't Blitz any more than 4 rotations a day, really, for something. It's just they need to they crutch on Blitz far too often, and I know that's how they get their screen time engagement, but it's really killing, I think, a lot of players and their drive to log in, personally.
Well, that's what I think is the problem, Boilon. They're looking for screen time engagement. They're looking for players logged in. They're looking for their metrics to share with their advertisers or whatever, or their investors. And they're not looking for fun, because blitzing is not fun. Blitz, click button, fun. There's other game modes that are fun, but blitzing is not fun at all. So they need to reevaluate the way that they're looking at all this stuff.
Absolutely.
Right, but like I said, there is a blitz coming up that is going to award 3,000 blitz credit, and that is the Savage Superior Rumble Blitz for these X-Men. And the rewards aren't that great, but the good thing about these quick Rumble Blitzes is you don't have to do a lot of blitzing. I mean, if you refresh your X-Men with up to 25 and 50s, you might be able to do it on 1 rotation and you're done for the rest of the weekend. Are you going to be done with this with the quick Rumble Blitz? And how big is this 3,000 extra blitz credits with this quick Rumble? Now that it's only 16,000 blitz credits that we need.
So I already, when I did my calculations, I included that in my Viral Visions math. So it does, with all of the blitz credits that you get from all the blitzes for the week, it brings the rotations down now to about 2 a day, which is great, and so that's from 8, right? It was at like 8, 7 to 8 basically is where it was at. And you had to spend 600 cores as well on top of that. It was ridiculous. So, quick rumbles are pretty easy. What I do like, and I appreciate that they did, was I think from October, they gave bonus points for 3-star. Before, it was very hard for newer and mid-game players to clear these events because you only got bonus points for 5-star. Now you're getting bonus points for 3-star, and the win blitz points actually was improved a lot. It used to be like something crap, like 10. I don't know. It was really terrible, and now it's 200.
Am I remembering that wrong? Because it's saying the stars, and I know the past few have been stars. Was it originally gear, or was that a different event? I believe it was like gear 15 at some point, or it could have been some different blitz event that I'm remembering incorrectly.
Not quick rumble. Quick rumble was always stars.
It's always stars. Okay.
Because there was a dark.
What was the blitz?
one?
Just out of curiosity. What was the gear requirements? Was that a different type of blitzing event?
That was Rogue's Gallery, actually. This time last month, it was gear tier for Young Avengers for blitzing.
Oh, okay. So like the same event that we have going on, you're just not getting extra points for having these characters geared up.
Yeah, they've kind of completely removed the bonus points for gear tier now for whatever reason. They've kind of changed that with star levels in other events a little bit, and that's a little bit disappointing because the gear tier I think is very player friendly for especially veterans and anyone else who's really like gear tier 13 plus on a set of characters, and that helps you get through events quicker. But they don't want that anymore, so they want
FOMO. They want FOMO. They want, no, I'm not going to complete this event.
Yeah,
let me go buy some stars for these characters. All right.
Absolutely.
So that is the event. Now, all of this is to unlock this character, this War Dog character. Now, what is his actual value? Does this character have any value outside of war offense, outside of being a Scourge unlocked team? After the Scourge event, after you get Death unlocked, the Archangel unlocked, are you going to be able, does Black Panther 1 million BC have any value outside of war and that Scourge event?
That's a great question. I'm not sure if I'm qualified to answer that because I have 0 red Black Panther. I'm not building him. I'm not building War Dogs, and I'm completely skipping them. So
I guess that's the answer. I guess that's the answer.
So I have a really big Bionic Avengers, like gear tier 16, level 90. They're like 1.1 million, and so yeah, they're really high.
Well, I'm just thinking about your gamma radiation on Iron Man and Vision.
I'm done everything. Yeah, so I got lucky. Yeah, no buying either.
I did the same thing. I did the same thing though. That's why I'm like, oh no.
Yeah. So I'm normally what I do sometimes for Scourge runs is I'll do a 9-node run on very high difficulty. And I honestly find it hard to believe that Bionic Avengers would not be able to clear 1 node 5. And then that means I don't have to spend my resources into War Dogs because I won't need them. And I'm not a big fan of war. So I don't personally. He might have some other value, but in Crucible, I heard that people are using him with the Wakanda team in Crucible, but I'm just not doing it.
I've seen him on that team, and the Young Avengers beat it just like they beat a normal Wakandan. So I don't know if it makes a huge difference on there.
I haven't really kept up with it too much, so I'm not sure what's going on with him or what he's being used for a lot right now. But as far as like Scourge and War, like I'm just doing alternative things because I want to save for Death Seed. I want to save all my resources. I don't want to spend in these 2 War Dog characters because I want to make sure I can max out my Death Seed as soon as they come out.
That makes sense. Now let's talk about the next War Dog character, because I think this is the character that a lot of people would rather have red stars on. This is the character that people are going to push for. And we're going to talk about her event Datamine coming out coming up later. But is she really the key to the War Dogs? Is this worth spending some elite red star orbs on this character to try to get her up as high as possible? Or is this another skippable character? Does she have more value outside of this War Dog team than Black Panther 1MM?
I mean, that's a good question. I guess it depends on what you value. I mean, based on what I just said just a minute ago about Scourge, I don't. You might still use her in Scourge if you're building the team, but I won't be. She has an Echo-based Retaliate, I'm pretty sure, in her passive. So, and I heard her damage stat is like super high. So that's the damage is why people. If you're considering spending on her, then I would probably open your Elite Orbs because that means you're going to have a higher chance of getting 5 yellow or something like that. And so that might have value for you. For me, I'm actually going to be saving a lot of my cores probably on her event. I'm not going to spend a ton because I don't plan on building it. So, whether I get a 3 or 4 yellow in the event doesn't matter too much to me. Okay.
So saving cores, saving gears, saving your gold and training mats and all that. Are you going to still open red star orbs for Nakia though? No. Do you see the value down the road for her?
I skipped both of them. I didn't open. I'm going to be skipping opening orbs for both of them. I'm not doing it. I'll just wait until she goes into the Elite store because I have so many silver promos actually that I just have nothing to do with it. So I'll buy it later.
You know what? I got a lot of silver promos as well. I'm not sure how many, but I don't know what to spend this on.
I have like 1,000.
All the good characters that I want to upgrade, I either don't have the gold stars for, or they need dark promo credits. So yeah, this silver and gold is just building up as far as my promo credits. Now, as far as Black Panther, we mentioned the red stars for Nakia, but when Black Panther originally was in the red star orbs, he really wasn't in the red star orbs. And now the compensation went out. Some people on chat were saying that they got their full compensation for this on either Saturday or Sunday. I believe it was supposed to go out on Sunday. But there was also some people saying that they didn't. What are you hearing with your community? Do you know if everybody should have been refunded at this time, or are they still rolling these out?
I don't know if I really saw any messages from anyone that didn't get them back. I got them back. I opened 4.
And what is a 1-to-1 conversion for the exact what you opened as far as elites?
Yeah. I got all my Elite Force back. I didn't open anything more than that.
All right. So if Nakia's not in there, I might open a red. If she's not in there initially, I might open a red 7.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure you had like Reminex on last week, and you talked about something similar to this, and I hate this, but I would encourage everyone, if they screw up, to open your orbs. You're going to get everything back. And as much as I hate doing this and loopholing the system, it seems that's what they're doing. So if you want to go and open your 6s and 7s because you know you're going to get them back, then go for it. And that's just what the game is now. But what I don't like about it, and I think Remenex alluded to that possibly on your video or on his own, that, you know, the people who aren't on at the store reset time, they get penalized because they're not able to do it. And then that bothers me.
Definitely. Now, what I would advise, though, if you are going to open it during that time, if Nakia does not indeed go to those orbs, take some screenshots, maybe even do some screen recordings so that you could tell customer service, hey, I opened it. She was not in these orbs. You need to give me my full refund. So anybody that didn't get the full refund for Black Panther 1mm, if you're going to try to do something for Nakia, if they screw up again whenever she comes out, take some screenshots. Be careful. Protect yourself. All right, let's go on to the next topic, which is this offensive starter re-release. This caused a lot of controversy, separating a lot of people between these 14, 15 fragments, these uniques for the 14 and 15s, the gear pieces. Some people were able to get 20,000 orbs of each for only $20. Some people chose not to spend. Where did you get this offer? The 20,000 orbs each? No.
Nope.
Okay.
I didn't buy it.
All right. And is it, in retrospect, now that it's been about a week or so since this went down, is this as big of a deal as people expected, or were they making too much out of this?
I mean, so the only tier 14 mini that I've ever been low on, there's like, I think it's the biomolecular scan. That's the only one. And I don't know why it's that one. Maybe I didn't get a lot of it in orbs or any other way. So occasionally I did farm that, but that's it. And so for some people, it may mean that you no longer have to, farm those like I did occasionally. But there's other people who said, well, what happens if, I don't know, they really want to just kind of screw the community a little bit and, I don't know, triple the amount of 14s and 50s required on future characters. Now, I hope that never happens because I didn't buy the offer, right? And so if it comes down to the fact that I can't play because I didn't buy this offer, I'll throw in the towel.
Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't even opened my orbs. I haven't noticed a big difference.
Who wants to open 40,000 orbs? No, thank you.
I didn't do the math on it, but everybody was saying before I even bought that offer, it's going to take about 4 hours just opening orbs for one of those. If you're opening all of those, that's 8 hours. That's a full 8-hour day, guys. Just to open the orbs and claim your. So not only do you have to spend $20, you have to spend over 4 hours each.
No, what you need to do is
orbs.
You need to pay Scopely for a feature that allows you to open up all of your orbs. So they'll give us an offer where you get a 100 or 1,000 times orb opening button, but you have to pay for the feature for it.
Oh, like a feature that is for free in many other games that I play. Scopely would do that. They would do that. All right. Another big question on the community's mind is, where is Mr. Negative? We've had his offer come out, and everybody keeps asking, when is the event? When is this event? We've had a message on Reddit from Archangel, which was deleted. So again, I'm not sure what this means, but say that is related to web store release. There's questions in the Envoy chat, always ask, and you're like, we'll share the details with you soon. What is going on with Mr. Negative, and what is your predictions on if he will get a release? And if he does, what will this be? Will it be related to web store or something else?
Valley, do you know how long it's been since he's been since he came out? Do you know how long his offer was?
How long has he been? When is his offer out?
October 14th. So in a couple of days, it'll be almost a whole month.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, we're not getting it within a month. We're not getting it within a month.
Couple days it's not happening, right? Probably because I think we're getting someone else. It's just it seems weird, like they almost forgot about him, because it's very unlikely they're going to run 2 character events simultaneously. So they'd have to have a gap where there's either nothing going on or it's not a character event, and so they can run a character event with some other random event.
What do you think the design was? Do you think this was designed to hold off this much and increase that FOMO? Or do you think they really forgot from all these bugs and everything going on, and they just didn't plan this correctly?
I really don't know. So normally we don't get 5 characters in a non-winter patch. Although we did get 5 actually in July for patch 6.3 for Bound Conventions. We don't normally get these many characters coming out in a single patch. So I think they've been just throwing too many of them out. And, you know, like we normally used to get 4, I think, like in legendary patches and things like that, but not
sometimes
5.
3. Sometimes 3.
Yeah, well, actually, Infinity Watch was 3. So it's quite interesting that we've now moved from like 3-4 to 4-5. And then like it feels like they're kind of squishing the characters in terms of releases. And then this happens that they just, I don't know, don't have time, or there's no space in the week to do whatever they I don't know what they have. I kind of want him, but not enough to buy him. Like I never bought him because I did build up my Taskmaster and Nobu actually to level 90. I have 90 Nobu, 90 Taskmaster, and I kind of wanted just to fill it in with Mr. Negative. I'm not going to buy him though, so whenever he comes, if he comes, I'll slide him in. Good thing is actually the team isn't too bad, even just as a foursome without him. So
okay, and you're talking for war offense or war defense? Where are you using that team right now?
Both, mostly war offense right now because they're still really solid even without Mr. Negative. But I've kind of fooled around with using Taskmaster and Crucible defense. So
okay, nice. Now the other controversial character of the week is this guy right next to Mr. Negative, Zombie Iron Man. Now, he had a very controversial release, and he's changing a lot of what's going on in war. This was a screenshot sent in from Prince of Peace on chat here. We see some huge punch ups with these characters here. What are your thoughts on Zombie Iron Man? Was this a important character for war to kind of ease up on some of these war defenses, or was this just a troll character with the way he was released and the dark promo credits and all that? Do you think in retrospect this was a positive release or a negative release, considering the good and the bad that he brought to the game?
So the event was a bit controversial. I think if they had provided us with more information ahead of time to ease what a lot of us thought, because obviously it rolled out and we really didn't like it to start with the information that we had. So if they were a bit more clear about what it was going to be like before then, and they have this weird habit of releasing an event, but then like as time goes on in the event, it like somehow gets better. But then we first see it and we're like, this is crap. So if they gave us more information up front, that would be a lot better. I like the character, actually. As far as the twosome, the duo are very good for newer and mid-game players because they're villains, and actually the newer and mid-game players often lack strong villain characters, especially for Scourges, because there's a villain lane in a lot of the different Scourges, and so they're very, very powerful there. So I used them on my baby account to do recently the Morgan Le Fay villains lane that just came around.
Have you used these characters in Arena? I'm starting to see them in Arena and some defenses. I'm hearing about some teams on offense. Now, I think Dormammu was a little more effective paired with Hela, but Zombie Iron Man still is in that Arena offense for some players. Are you seeing some Zombie Iron Mans in your shard right now?
Not in the end game, but again, it's a very good combo to be used in the early and mid game if you're using Tangled Web. So Tangled Web is a very powerful arena trio, even Noir actually in early and mid game when you don't have everything built up. So using the 3 of them with Hela and Zombie Iron Man in early and mid game arenas actually are and they could be Darkhold. So nice. You're seeing, because a lot of around that level 80 sort of gear tier 14 area, you see a lot of like full Darkholds now, but these guys can beat Darkholds. So it's good for the mid game, I think.
So there's actually a combo that Dogbert told me about on chat yesterday with Dormammu, 99 Weaver, Red Hulk, and Hela, not Zombie Iron Man, that pretty much takes out all meta arena defenses right now in the end game. So I'm not sure if that'll translate to defense or arena defense, but definitely on offense. Maybe not Zombie Iron Man, but Hela and this undead team is definitely part of the arena meta right now.
Probably not on defense because I'm using my offense actually is a 2099 Weaver Eternals combo, so Icarus will just blow up Greg and then it'll cause a double attack and all that. So
the Greg gives speed though, so when you blow up the Greg.
That's true. I mean, I have no problems in arena right now, and I try not to use too many teams that require Dormammu because when you're sharing it with your audience, they're not necessarily going to have Dormammu. So if you can come up with a way to beat these teams without Dormammu, that's even better.
That's a good point there. All right, we have Morgan Le Fay back. More stars for her. I believe this is the 4th time that she has been back. Yep. This was an event that I pushed really hard on the first time it came around. So some of these subsequent times, I've just been putting on cruise control. I haven't done this yet. How big is this for newer players with their Web Warriors, with their Dark Hunters, especially with that rework of Mordo? Getting more stars from Morgan Le Fay, and it actually seems like it's easier to get stars for Morgan Le Fay than it does for Agatha.
Well, okay. So it's always been that way with legendary characters. So I remember with Jubilee, I had a 7-star Jubilee before Bishop and Iceman or whoever was even farmable. So because I got 7-star Jubilee on her second pass, which was about 3 months after her first pass. None of the characters were even farmable at that point. So this is just on par with the other legendaries and how you get stars for them more broadly. And yeah, it is, especially if you engage in the first event, because you get those the first time shards. Those are really important if you can squeeze into those brackets to get first time shards. My baby account will probably get about a 4-star, 4.5-star Morgan Le Fay after 3 runs. So it is a bit slower if you miss that first run, but hey, what can you do?
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to this. This was an interesting collaboration that Scopely is doing with 2K in celebration of the Midnight Suns video game. Kind of doing a crossover right now. It looks like you get this shards, this costume for free, and I like this costume. And all you need to do is log in. I really like that. And it looks like you could also unlock some stuff in the Midnight Suns game. The Iron Man Bleeding Edge armor while playing Marvel Strike Force. What did you think of this costume? What do you think of this this release method for this costume? Sometimes they've charged things, charged money for these costumes directly. Sometimes you've had to grind for it. Now they're just giving it away. What is your opinion of this Midnight Suns costume for Magic?
I don't really use Magic, so for me, it's probably not going to make much of a difference. But it's a cool costume. I do like it. So for those of you who have built Magic, it'll look cool when you're using her in game. Sorry, is there do you get a costume for something if you play Midnight Suns from Marvel Strike Force, or is it just?
I don't think you get it back. I think you get a costume for Iron Man in Midnight Suns when you're playing Marvel Strike Force, but not the other way around. Nothing for Marvel. Scopely's not going to give stuff away. 2K might, but not Scopely. Yeah, come on now.
I am going to be playing Midnight Suns probably. I pre-ordered it, so I'm looking forward to that as well.
Okay, well, when it comes playing Marvel Strike Force, you could get a costume for her. So
it's true. So. Sweet. It's really cool looking. If you use Magic, then that should be fun for you.
Yeah, and it looks pretty cool in the game too. If you go in game and check this costume out, that's what we're going to be getting from there. So
I'd be curious if there's any animation changes. This doesn't happen very often, but some costumes come with animation adjustments that, like for example, the Ultron one. I don't know if you know that, but like his basic attack, he uses the lance to like fire out it's a different beam actually that comes out. So.
Was Phoenix another one that did some like slightly different animation? Like
I don't think so.
Okay, so I'm imagining that.
But Ultron, the Ultron What If, yeah, he had different basic animation. It wasn't a lot, but I would honestly be on board with costumes way more if they had animation changes, because that would feel cooler, either when I'm being attacked by them or when I'm using them. Like I think it would just look a lot better, and I would probably pay actually a little bit more if they had animation changes. I would maybe spend like $20 on a costume if it had animation changes.
Now, Namor has a pretty cool costume in game right now, and they just updated his stars on a character that we're not using though. So I don't know where you would use Namor. He has a pretty cool costume. If he had an animation change, would you still pay for that, even though that's not a character that most people are using nowadays?
Depends on how cool the animations were, maybe.
Okay.
But there's a threshold. But I really like if his ultimate was instead of the shark, I don't know, it was something MC related to like whatever's I don't know, right? But it would look cooler, and I think that there would be more. Now he's a war character, so I'm only going to be using it a couple times a week. But if it was like someone on my raid team that I'm seeing every day, yeah, I would actually consider doing that, because I'd actually get to look at it and play with it, and yeah.
It's interesting that a lot of these costumes are for these war characters, and some of the initial ones are ones that went in stealth that you never would see anyway.
That's true. There's a few of them, like Invisible Woman, Loki, I don't know, Black Widow.
Yeah.
that you don't see because they're in stealth. Now they could have a cooler stealth, because Spider-Man Noir, when he goes into stealth, he gets like this cool black shroud or whatever like that. So that's kind of neat. But yeah, most of the time you can't see them anyways. But
they changed the unlock from 3 to 2. Does this do anything? Does
No.
Namor have any value in the game right now? I know he's in the new Wakanda movie, which is pretty cool, but as far as Marvel Strike Force, does he do anything right now?
No,
Even
not
in
unless,
war, is he a valuable member of your war offense right now?
unless you have him at gear tier 14, there might be some niche uses for him, perhaps. Maybe running him with Zombie Iron Man and Hela. I don't know, because there's empty space there, sort of. There might be some value if you have him at gear 14 for some reason, because there's some turn bar knockback, and he has a decent kit. It's just I don't think even with the base stat changes that he received. Was it this patch or the patch before? I'm not sure if it's sufficient enough overall, though.
I still use them once in a while. And when I see a Young Avengers that I need to punch up on, I use Doom. When I'm punching down, though, I use Namor and save Doom for another thing. Because they did give him that rework with the reworks to the A-Force. And I think the Dark Hunters also got that rework around the same time. So I just thought they were supposed to go with each other. But yeah, Doom is still a much better fifth on that A-Force.
It's a little bit strange to have the unlock lowered because it's not like he got a rework or like an actual rework or a team or anything like that, a new team. So I'm not sure.
He's in the movie. This is for newer players, not for anybody that actually plays the game.
Or maybe they're going to be doing a Namor login calendar that gives you 50 shards and that'll unlock them instead of 100 shards. So maybe there's something that's coming soon. Who knows?
If they were going to do that, they should have done that for November while the movie's out, not in December when the movie is already a few weeks old.
It's boundless. It's Strike Force.
True. All right, and the other thing, Boilon, we got a new Strike Pass. Now, I didn't think this was too much of a thing, but you did point this out to me. Viv Vision is in there, which is a good thing. But there's different tiers here. We got a tier 1 for commanders level 10 to 49, tier 2, 50 to 69, 3 for 70 and everybody else. But there was supposed to be a Strike Pass 4 for level 80 plus, and that was supposed to be teal gear. What do you think happened to this? Why is there no teal gear in mine? Because I am commander level 80.
There's actually no communication about this issue, and people on my Discord were asking about this if anyone did get the tier 4 Strike Pass tier 3, which we all have right now. That's the orange gear, so it's blue gear, purple gear, orange gear, and now teal gear. But I don't think anyone got the tier 4 version, and there's been no communication about this. I'm surprised, and actually very few people talking about it. Probably because they didn't scroll to the bottom where it shows that, including you, since you didn't know about it.
The upgrade, but I don't read these mails. I'm like, let me just claim the tokens and stuff because I'm not buying it anyway, Scopely. And I don't even know if they know it, because if we look on this known issue page on the Scopely website, they have something about activation of the RTA pass, some login issues, and then the red stars are still there, but some of the things got deleted, but there's nothing right now about this level 4 that was missing. So what do you think they're going to do? Do you think they're going to change it in the middle of the pass? They're going to say, oh, we screwed up. Next time, this is for next time. What do you think they're going to do as a solution for this?
I don't think they can just replace the Strike Pass like that. I think they'd have to wait until, I think maybe it got pushed too early, and we'll have to wait until next month, I guess, for it to actually properly be activated. I think that's what's probably going to happen.
Probably too many copy pasting on previous.
Too much work on their side because
it's too much work.
Different levels. I don't know if you could just flip over because now you've already claimed stuff on the current Strike Pass, and so will you get to double dip if they change it over? I don't know if they can do it functionally.
Hey, why don't they just give free stuff to anybody that purchased the Strike Pass?
Well, some people.
I don't have a problem with that. That's fine.
I don't know where they mentioned this originally. I think it might have been on the Road Ahead blog, that one that we got, where they mentioned that Strike Passes might change to include teal gear. Gotcha. I don't know where that information came from originally, or if it just showed up here, because it doesn't say teal gear there, but I think that's what was intended to be.
Save your cores, because not your cores. Save your cores, because we have coordinated assault coming up. So save your ISO 8 energy, save your cores, save all of that stuff, because we got another coordinated assault, and this will award some Vibranium meteorites for progress in the first Panther milestones for Black Panther 1 million BC. I almost forgot the name there. All right, so how much cores are you saving? Is this something that your alliance does pretty easily, or is this something that you really have to push for nowadays, especially with these point totals that constantly are changing, the goalposts that are constantly moving?
Normally, we have no problems getting the milestone 19. Sometimes we struggle with the final one. Normally, I do have to tell my alliance to push a little bit more, and then we'll get it. But I mean, if I didn't, then maybe they wouldn't. So, but what they did do is they reduced the total amount of vibranium meteorites on the currency on the last milestone. So it used to be 2,500, and now it's 2,000. So if you don't hit it, you're not going to be losing as much, I guess.
Okay, and I don't know if you have that on your spreadsheet, but how much surplus was there if you did everything, got everything from the events, all of that? How much surplus was there for 2099, and how much surplus was there for Abomination? Could you hypothetically not get these milestones and still be able to complete the Black Panther event?
You could. So there was for 2099, there was a surplus of about 14,000.
Oh,
so
okay.
but the coordinated assault was 2,500. So if you miss the last milestone on both passes, because there's 2 of them per month, the coordinated assault, then you would have been down 5,000. If you miss 19 and 20, then you're down, at least this month, you'd be down 3,800. So that would be 7,600 over 2 events. It's a bit tight, of course. It's best that you do as much as you can to claim as many of them as you can. Abomination was a surplus of about 17,000, so it was a little bit higher than 2099.
A little more on a worse event, though.
I would say it's somewhere between 10 to 20,000 surplus.
Okay. So not a huge deal as far as the month-long milestones if you missed this. Now, this is running from the 11th to the 7th or the 11th, 7 days. After that 7 days, are you back to not spending any ISO 8 energy, just hoarding everything, just spending your free stuff and hoarding all of your ISO 8 refreshes and cores and all that?
Make sure you're hoarding up to the 500 cap on the pack. That way, when this event comes back around, that's like 10 refreshes for free. You don't have to like spend cores for. So that's really nice.
Yes. Hoard, guys. That's the name of the game right now. Reduce FOMO by hoarding.
Mail, inbox mails, raid mail, war mail. You never know. I still
haven't, the raid thing just got over, and I still haven't opened some of my raid mail just because of that.
You never know, right? When something's gonna pop out at you like a random event that here we go. You should have hoarded.
No, if I hoarded the past event, I would have got those abomination shards on that past offensive milestone thing. But I forgot. I looked at the red dots and I forgot some, so I was like, oh, I wasn't able to get those abomination shards. All right, we have Datamines. This is always fun, and I think Mini Ball's not doing it anymore. I think he retired. So Tana is where we're getting these from. These are copied onto my Discord server though, but we have an event for Nakia Datamine, the War Dog team, and it looks like it's going to be her event as was described in the patch notes. Do you think that they're going to go through with the heroic difficulty requiring War Dogs instead of Wakandans?
I mean, that was changed from Wakandans to War Dogs.
So as the patch notes, it did strike through the, I don't know what I said, but it said Wakandans, it was strike through. War Dogs are required for heroic difficulty. I don't know if I said that backwards though, but do you think it's going to be changed back to Wakandans, or they're going to be a little more friendly seeing how this past event was received?
So the problem is, of course, is that from previous months event campaigns, you needed 5 trait characters to do heroic. And there's only 5 War Dogs, which means that you need Black Panther and her and the other 3 just to start heroic mode. Now, the problem is, of course, is that if you're free to play, you won't have her, and there's actually a good chance you probably won't have Black Panther by that point either. So I'm a little bit confused what they're intending to do. Even if you farm, by the way, hard mode requires 3 trait characters, so you have to have Shuri, Black Panther, and Okoye. You'd have to use them in hard mode and them only until so you're 3-manning hard mode until you unlock her, where you can maybe slide her into your team. But then you're still at 4, right?
No, I thought they said just for heroic difficulties it was a War Dog. Do you think that's also going to extend to the hard difficulty for the War Dogs, or we can be free to use whoever we want?
I mean, in past events, though, it was the same. It was 1 trait for both hard and heroic. You just required different amount of characters. So hard required 3, heroic required 5. But of course, back then, with Spider Weaver, we had like 20 characters that you could choose from. So it didn't really matter much. So here,
normally it has been a big one. This seems like a very limiting trait for this.
I'm concerned. Initially, I don't. They may just say you can use any characters in hard mode. They may slash this requirement. But how event campaigns worked in the past You needed 3 for hard mode. You needed 5 for heroic. There's only 5 of them total, so that's very. It's not good unless they give us some information, basically telling it's going to be different.
Now, what is the difference in the conversion of the orb fragments to the energy that you spend between hard mode and the heroic mode? Is that a big variance, or is that not something to be concerned about? It is.
So in hard mode, I don't know if you farm hard mode much now, but hard mode has finite fragments, so you can run out after like a week. The nodes actually just deplete and you can't farm them anymore. So if you're not able to get into heroic, then there's a cap to how many fragments you can get, which, as we know from previous events, actually we had a week-long event that required you to open orbs or earn fragments from the event itself. Usually that's in conjunction with the event campaign. So I think that's what we're getting with maybe week 3's event. I believe it was called like spy something or whatever the third week is. And I think that's related to this campaign event. So if you're not able to do heroic, then this is going to cause some problems for the math. And you're only going to walk away with a 3-star probably if you can do hard only. And you need 4 to 5-star for heroic, basically, is what you could get. But the question is, how do we get into heroic? Because if you don't have Black Panther, the new one, and or her, then you're really late to joining heroic mode, if that makes sense, because you might not be able to start farming heroic from the beginning.
They're really pushing on that FOMO for the players. So
I'm concerned,
we'll probably know
wait.
Tomorrow in the blog post. But of course, anything in the blog post is always like this to change, even when it doesn't have that line, because there's strike throughs and all this stuff there. All right, let's talk about this next set of data mines. This is called Strike Salute. And what it seems to be rewarding is gold, training modules, Icarus and Cersei character shards, Spider Weaver, and then launch party orbs. Do you think this was the event that they talked about in the coming weeks to compensate players for their big screw up of those 20,000 orbs of the 14 and 15s for purchase? They said they were going to do something for all players in an event. Is this the event that we got data mined here? They're talking about Eternal Shards goals, honoring all commanders with Strike Salute event. Sounds like it, but what is your opinion on this?
When does the event start?
There's no date. These are all data mines. So of course, these are even more subject to change than the blog post, but this may not even happen. But so there's no date on this officially. But do you think if this went live, the intention of that is to kind of compensate players for all their screw ups?
There's a couple of concerns I have, which is if this is designed solely as a player appreciation event, then there better not be any monetization in here. There not be like selling offers to get ahead in the milestone in what's supposed to be a player appreciation event. That better not happen. Secondly, I thought, because someone told me that this was meant to be like a Veterans Day event, because that's coming up, I think, for Americans, I thought tomorrow, and Canada has Remembrance Day, which is World War I, I think, like a Memorial Day. So I thought that the salute, is kind of like a military thing. I thought that was intended to be.
Make sense.
But they're disguising it as a player appreciation event, I guess, maybe.
Hey, nothing could be worse than Thanos giving. So,
I hope
away shards here.
It sounds like it's like free stuff that we're going to get without having to do much. Campaign energy is fine. And I just hope that this is not like monetized to the point where like this is garbage. Like if we're anywhere close to saying it's garbage, it's not a player appreciation event. So
if Icarus, Cersei shards, Spider Weaver shards are only available in the last few milestones, which you can't reach unless you spend...
we're gonna get 5.
Really appreciating players.
We're gonna get 5 shards. Like that's expect
the very last milestone, 5 shards each.
Don't expect much, and then when they do something really good, then it just feels better.
Yeah, expect nothing. Right, last, it looks like we have another event coming up. This one, they're talking about a secret cache opens, which again, maybe another appreciation for the players here. But it may actually it's not. It's Panther Progress by Mayorini Meteorites. This is where you're gonna get the Ancient Claw necklace. Now, in addition, red stars for Black Panther. We have some 5 red star Okoye character shards. This looks like one that you're gonna really have to push for. This looks like a harder event. Normally, when there's red stars for characters, it's something that you really have to grind for. How much grinding are you expecting for this?
Now, I'm really glad I didn't open any orbs for Black Panther because I completely skipped him. And it's saying red stars for Black Panther. Do you know who the last character was that gave red stars in an event for their event?
No.
Echo.
Oh.
Do you remember there was the Echo's event with mirror images and it had in her leaderboard?
That was a horrible event. The mirror image event. I remember the name because it was so horrible.
And in her leaderboard was her red stars, and people were like, "Well, if I knew that, I wouldn't have opened red stars for the characters, right?" So,
all right, beware, guys, beware.
Now maybe I feel good that I skipped his. I didn't open anything for him except for the screw up.
Boilon.
But I mean, Okoye, if I've read Okoye, it's okay, right? If you're building them, I guess, and you don't have it yet from like random pulls.
Yeah. So don't buy her in the store. In other words.
Pichu level 5 ions, that's a bit of a concern because we've seen that it's really like a leaderboard. It's like basically locked on the leaderboard from previous events.
Leaderboard rewards right there is what it says. So
it's a little bit misleading because a lot of this is probably leaderboard stuff like red stars, level 5 ions, Armory 17 orbs, all that's probably leaderboard stuff.
This stuff is for the rest of us here. None of that.
Hopefully we get T4s. Maybe that's leaderboard locked too. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. All right. I got a lot of hype for this movie coming out. Unfortunately, I'm going to be traveling, so I won't be able to see it. But how hyped are you for Black Panther 2 Wakanda Forever?
You know what? I don't actually have my tickets booked yet. I will see it, but probably not right away. I have no one to go with, actually, so I guess I'll be going to the movie theater by myself this time. All right. So I will see it. Just
the reviews I've heard, the trailer looks awesome. Everything, I'm super hyped for this. So, I want to see it as soon as possible.
So I will see it. I'm not one of those people who wait for Disney Plus or anything. I'll go see it in the theaters. I just haven't made any particular plans or what day I'm going to see it. I actually didn't know it was coming out this soon. So
it's coming out tomorrow, boy.
So maybe I'll see it sometime next week, probably.
Next week, not this weekend. Not this weekend.
I don't know if I'll get tickets. It's very hard if you don't buy them early. Like my city, like there's just it's a big city, and almost every theater is like fully booked on MCU movies like the first weekend. Like unless I sit like in some crappy seat like in the sides somewhere. Like otherwise it's really hard.
Front looking up at this.
Yeah, I don't do that. So I'll probably wait till Monday because then people are back to work, and I'll probably see it then.
Okay, yeah, we usually see it on Sunday mornings and it's usually not that crowded, but not this weekend. I'm not saying it. So, Valley Club, no spoilers at all for this Black Panther movie. I am looking forward to it, but Boilon, that is it. That is all we have for the news. That is all we have for the hype. Some negative and some positive things going on this week. Overall, what is your impression of all these changes that were made, all these events coming up? Where are you right now in Marvel Strike Force? Hyped, optimistic, pessimistic? Where are you with Marvel Strike Force after all the stuff that has happened this week?
I feel like I say the same thing at the end of every time I'm on here, is that like I hope things get better. You could probably find where I say that like a lot. But I'm glad that they fixed the event, but they just need some people in there to check it before it goes out, because it would save a lot of PR, especially because we do videos on this stuff, and like I wouldn't have to say some of the things that I do if it just came out properly, right? And that's what we all want.
As your math expert, Boilon, so you can tell them, all right, this is going to be a bad event. They're like, oh yeah, we know. Or like, this is a bad event. Oh wait, this wasn't supposed to be a bad event. This viral visions, this wasn't supposed to be bad. Let's change it all, because we don't know how to do math. So
that's double-edged, because I'm not sure if I actually want to work for Scopely, and I don't want to get some hate for being forced into doing bad math. Like, hey, you should make this bad, and like I'm forced to make it bad for the player. So I don't want to be given that responsibility. But yeah, I appreciate the sentiment anyways.
You know what? It could be a double-edged sword, because you'd be like, "Oh, this is a friendly event." We're like, "Oh, wait, that was supposed to be a bad one. Let's make it even worse." So.
At least I'd be able to make it properly, given the information they give me. So
yeah, you'll be able to give them accurate information.
I would check it over.
They're not going to do the math. You're doing more math than they are over there.
It doesn't take much time, and that's the frustrating part. Like you can do this really quickly, and yet they don't do the checks and balances, and they've kind of never done. Where's the QA? I thought they were hiring it. Where'd it go?
This is our world-class experience, Boilon.
Like, yeah. All right, I'm glad this is at the end because.
All right, yes, I know. All right, I'm with you. I'm hoping it's gonna get better. I've been playing this game for a long time. I've seen a lot of ups and downs. We've been in kind of a downtrend recently with not a lot of huge momentum gain for the up. We've had some down and up and then right back down again. So hopefully we get some good, followed by more good, followed by more good. Look at that WandaVision shirt.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, guys. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you're listening to this on the podcast version, make sure you give them a 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening to. And I will see you guys next time. Once again, thank you, Boilon. I will see you guys on social media. Check out some of the Valley merch on TeePublic. And of course, if you're spending money on any game in the Amazon App Store, check that out as well. I'll see you guys. Boilon, ready for that fist bump?
Sure am.
All right, let's do it. Wind up. Hulk fist bump, ValleyFlyin up, Boilon out. Have a great rest of your day. Have a great rest of your week. I'll see you guys next time.